Welcome to episode 5 of Sunday Shorties. My name is Chelsea and I will be your hostess. This is Romo, he will be my co-host. And this is Lady Z and she will be my third co-host, as always. Welcome to any new viewers. I'm trying my hardest right now not to look at the playback screen but to look at the lens, but it's very difficult because I'm used to filming on a computer where typically when you look at the playback screen it's you looking directly at the camera. Anyway, there's a lot of details of things that you guys really don't even care about, but anyway, so if you see me looking up and then down and then up and then down, that is why. So anyway, that was a bit of a tangent, but yeah, I'm coming to you from Burlington, Vermont. Today is Sunday, November 19th. And yeah, I just wanted to check in with you guys, see how your week was going. Thanksgiving is in 4 days, which is so exciting because like I talked about last episode, it is my all-time favorite holiday. And yeah, Justin and I are Justin is my husband, and we are lucky enough to have this entire week off of work. So I am trying to reset my mind to relaxation, and typically on Sundays I'm mentally preparing for the work week and going to the grocery store and preparing food for the week. And so it feels very different this Sunday because we have another 7 days where we don't have to think about work. Yay! So anyway, this is the out of breath thing again, you guys. It's so funny. In the last episode I talked about how I always feel like when I start these episodes I'm out of breath, and I didn't even think that it's because I'm 7.5 months pregnant. I just thought it was me not knowing how to speak to a camera by myself. But then a lot of comments said, I experienced the same thing when I was this far along in my pregnancy, and I was like, duh, Chelsea, you have a human crowding your lungs right now. Which actually, I'm not sure how much longer this will be the setup for the podcast because it is a little bit crunchy when I sit like this. So I have this amazing glider that my mother-in-law purchased for me. Hi Lisa, she watches all of these. That she purchased for Justin and I for when the baby is born. So I may or may not be switching over to that setting next week. And I'm wondering if that will help with the labored breathing. So anyways, I am drinking peppermint tea out of my Remembrances pottery mug, which I do almost every Sunday when I sit here with you guys. I love these mugs so much. I think it's focusing well. I got a lot of great feedback about the camera, the new camera, last episode, which was so nice. And I got a lot of questions too about what kind of camera it is, and so I figured I'd share it here instead of commenting to each individual person. The camera that I purchased is the Canon G7X, and I'll put it in the show notes too with a link so that you guys can go over and take a look at the product and product reviews and everything. I bought this camera off of the recommendation from Mina Phillips of the Knitting Expat podcast, and a good friend of mine. She recommended it to me right when I had gotten pregnant. She sent me all of this like wonderful information that actually I used when I was registering for the baby. And she also recommended getting a good camera, which I had been wanting to do anyway. So to have the excuse of, I needed a new camera anyway. We have a new baby on the way. We're gonna wanna be taking a lot of pictures of her. And it's just improving the quality of the podcast. So anyway, that is the camera. I'll put it on the screen. I'll put it in the down bar. All of the show notes for these podcasts can be found in the down bar on YouTube. That's the only place I post them. They'll have active links in there so you can easily click over to products or patterns or project pages. So yes, please make sure you utilize those. Hopefully they'll make your life a little bit easier. I know a lot of times will reference show notes that other podcasters put together, and I'm always so grateful when they do. So yeah, I'm drinking a little bit of tea out of my Remembrances pottery mug. I'm wearing, which I realized last episode, I don't remember what I was wearing at this point, but I never mentioned what I was wearing, what knitwear I was wearing. So today I'm wearing my Treehouse hat by Melody Hoffman, who is Bee Mandarins on Instagram. I love this hat so much. It was a super fast knit. I knit it out of Brooklyn Tweed Shelter in the tallow colorway. And I'm also wearing a finished object that I literally just finished weaving in the ends on. This is my road trip shawl by Kemper Wray of Junk Yarn Designs. I'll take it off so you guys can take a better look at it. So it is a large shawl, which I love. Let's see if we can get a good shot of it. So like I said, I literally just finished weaving in the ends with this shawl. And I blocked it yesterday and let it dry. And those of you that have watched the Legacy Knits podcast or any of these previous episodes kind of know that I'm not good at finishing my knitting. I am good at finishing knitting my projects and getting them off the needles, but as far as blocking and weaving in ends, I am so lazy. I am so lazy. So with this one though, this was a very intentional project for me. I don't even know how to describe it. It was a project that I needed to cast on. I was in the middle of a lot of frustrating projects that I just couldn't quite finish for any reason, or I'd hit a roadblock in some of them, and I was like, you know what? I need something fresh. I need something new. And these two skeins of yarn from Stacy of Stress Knits Yarn and the Stress Knits podcast that she had gifted me, and it like, the skeins jumped out at me. The project had already been simmering in my mind, that I had wanted to make one after seeing Molly from A Homespun House. She was making one, and she is like one of my all-time enablers. If she's making something, I cannot make it. So I cast this on Halloween night, and I literally, like I said, finished it a couple minutes ago, and it is the 19th today. So it was a little over 2 weeks for me to finish this project. It was amazingly fun to knit. I'm definitely going to be knitting another one. I'm going to be knitting another one out of Legacy Fiber Arts yarn. I already have the yarn picked out. I can't speak highly enough about my experience while knitting this project. The pattern itself, flawless, absolutely flawless. Kemper, I've spoken about Kemper before. She's so beyond talented. And the yarn, I feel like I've posted about this yarn on Instagram so many times because it is just, it's so soft. I just posted a picture of this when I took it off the needles yesterday. And you can see this like gorgeous halo just like hovering over the shawl. And it's, if you don't follow me on Instagram, you don't have to, but you can certainly go over to my page and take a look at this picture because it is unbelievable how soft and fuzzy and cozy, and the squish factor is just, it's unbelievable. So I don't want to go on for too long because we're already at about 10 minutes, but I highly recommend every single piece, every aspect of this project. I recommend to somebody that's looking for a fun knit, an engaging knit, and then not even to mention the final object. Like, look at this. I can't wait. This is what I plan on wearing when I'm home for Thanksgiving, all the time. All the time. That was why this was a big goal for me, was to finish this so that I could have it for Thanksgiving vacation, so that when I'm down at home I have a cozy shawl to wrap around myself. in the morning when I'm going and making my tea, or when I'm sitting on the couch knitting in the evening in front of the fire. I had all of these like scenarios in my head. I'm very much a visualizer. So as I was visualizing this vacation, or this time off down in Connecticut with our families, I just kept envisioning myself in this shawl. So I'm so excited and so happy that I was able to finish it and really finish it and block it in time to go down there. So yes, that is my big FO, and that's about all I can say about it. I do have a project page. Like I said, I will link it in the show notes below. It'll tell you the needles I used, the yarn I used, it'll give you a link to the pattern, it'll give you the whole shebang. So yes, if anybody does decide to cast one of these on, I'd love to see it. Go ahead and either like tag me on Instagram or something. Or if you're using Stacy's yarn or anything that you want me to see, feel free to tag me on Instagram. I love seeing projects that you guys are working on. So anyway, that's the big FO. And then of course, when a project comes off the needles, a project then has to go back on the needles. Am I right? So, okay, I'm gonna have to reach for this one. I cast on for a new shawl 2 nights ago, and I'm currently housing it in my Stitch Together Studios cinch sack, which I love. It is a super cute bag. It's a great size. I've talked about it before in previous episodes of the Legacy Knits podcast. I love it. I don't know how many, I think a lot of times they do these on special order. So just keep your eyes peeled, follow them on Instagram if you're interested in one of these. And so anyway, back to the knitting, but that's what I'm housing it in. I cast on for the Hoarfrost shawl, I believe is how it's pronounced. I'll put it on the screen like I always do, by Andrea Mowry, whom I love. You all know this. And like I said, I cast on a couple days ago. This is as far as I've gotten. It curls a little bit with when you knit it. I'm hoping, I think this is focusing. And I'm knitting this out of yarn that I was given when I was volunteering at the senior center a couple months ago. And I wasn't 100%, well, okay, so I thought I was going to be knitting the Hildy by Andrea Mowry, and I talked about it on this podcast, that I just don't know how to knit off of a chart yet, and I failed the learning process. It's not even that I failed the learning process, it's that I didn't attempt to learn. I should have. I know I should have. But instead of being patient and waiting to learn or teaching myself, I found this pattern and I decided that this yarn would be beautiful knit up as a hoarfrost shawl. And since if you guys have watched before, you know how much I love dressing up my knitting. I have a Sucre Sucre Miniatures pumpkin spice latte. Maybe? You see it now? I'll put a picture of it. But anyway, so it's a pumpkin spice latte in a beautiful hand-painted mug with a pumpkin on top of it. And I just thought it was perfect for the Thanksgiving week. It reminded me of Thanksgiving. So yeah, this project has been super fun. I'm knitting this on size US 8s. And I believe these are Addy lace needles. They have a very metallic-y smell to them. I think they might be, I don't know what kind of metal they are, to be perfectly honest with you, but I've used them for many projects before. They have a very distinct smell to them, and I feel like it's been spoken about in other podcasts. But I really like them. They knit very quick. They're metal. Yeah. So the funny thing is just the smell. Every time I'm done working on this project and I go to put it down, I always make sure I go and wash my hands, otherwise it smells like metal. It's a little weird, but whatever. So right now I'm in the middle of an 8 pattern repeat, which just keeps increasing and increasing and increasing. And it's super fun, and it's like a lot of her patterns that I've spoken about before. It's mindless while also being very engaging. It's a cool pattern, and I'm having a blast knitting it, and it is my secret goal inside my head, although now that I'm talking about it on the podcast, you guys can all try and keep me accountable. But I would really like to finish this by the end of next week, and that could be really ambitious of me, but I think I can do it. I think I can do it. A whole week? I don't know. I have faith in myself. I think we'll see next week, huh? So anyway, here's a better look at the yarn that I'm knitting with, which I love it so much. It is so multi-dimensional and earthy crunchy. Like, there's hay in this yarn. As I'm knitting, I find little pieces of hay and I just have to like go pick it. Oh, you know what I should have done? Let me go get a skein of this yarn really quickly because I'd like to show you the hank so that you can see what company made it. So this yarn was made in Nepal. It is called Himalaya yarn. I'll show you the label there. It is 60% wool, 40% recycled silk. It is just absolutely beautiful. So I have about, I think, 5 or 6 hanks of this, which should be more than enough to finish this shawl. I'll be curious to see how much I have left over. If I have a lot, I don't know if this is really hat yarn. It's a little bit scratchy, but I'm wondering how it's going to feel after being soaked and blocked. So stay tuned, I'll let you know how it goes. I think it'll be really soft and lovely. But yeah, I don't know, time will tell. Have a little bit of tea. So I have a couple more things that I'd like to show you guys. One of which being, my husband is a big knitter, for anybody that doesn't know that. And he is knitting a pair of socks for our mutual friend at work who just started a pottery business. So we are going to do a bit of a trade, which is very exciting because hopefully I'll be able to show you some of her products on here. She makes some beautiful pieces. And this morning I had posted something on Instagram and she mentioned that she was thinking about yarn bowls. So I will keep you abreast of any new information if she does decide to do yarn bowls. But so this is the pair of socks that Justin is knitting for her. And he is using our Oogie Boogie colorway because she mentioned that she liked it. And I just think that they're knitting up so beautifully. And when I say our, I mean Legacy Fiber Arts, of course, for anybody that doesn't know. So yes, I just wanted to show those because, and he's knitting out of our cashmere base, which I would say is probably equally as beautiful as Stacy's that I'm wearing around my neck. It is just, it's so soft and so warm and still very durable too. There's a lot of a good nylon content in there that will keep any holes from forming. So we finished the first sock and he's about halfway done with the second sock. But I hadn't seen Oogie Boogie knit up yet, so this was very exciting for me to see as he's working away over here. He's not over here right now, but every night when we sit down and we knit, that's where he is. And then the last thing I wanted to show you guys, ooh, sorry, is, okay, scrappy blankets. We talked about them last week. I showed you guys my granny stripe crochet blanket, which I'm obsessed with. But I also really like the cozy memory blanket, which is basically just a mitered square blanket that you can make with scraps or whatever you want to knit it with, basically. And Mom and I were talking at one point, And I had said, how fun would it be if I made, or one of us made, a cozy memory blanket out of all Legacy Fiber Arts yarn. So I cast on for another one yesterday. Shamelessly, because they're such a fun knit, and it really would be nice to have a collection of all of our yarns knit up. So I'm just having a lot of fun with it, and I wanted to show you guys just because I like to show you guys all the things I'm working on. So I've only done a square and a half, as you can see. I haven't done a ton, but this is Kirk, our Kirk colorway, and this is our 2017 Needles Up exclusive colorway. And I leave a progress keeper on the front just so that I know as I'm flipping back and forth, because there's been more often than not that I will not be paying attention and watching a movie or something and do the decreases on the wrong side, which isn't a big deal. But I'm knitting these with my signature needles, size US 2s. They are sharper than sharp, as you can see. And I'm just loving it so far. It's really nice when I want to break from the chunky yarn of the Hoarfrost shawl. I just pick this up and I'll knit either a square or a couple rows on one of the squares that I'm working on. And it's just really nice. It's just a really calming project, and I'm really excited to be working on one again. So I've got that, and then with the next color that I'm going to be knitting on will be And We'll Make Snow Angels, which I showed you guys last time because I just made a pair of baby socks out of these. Speaking of which, I am also still working on the second pair of baby socks. Look at how long my hands are. Gotta weave them in. But this is the second sock that I've knit, which I think is super cute. It's in the Dream Phone colorway, Legacy Fiber Arts, in the cashmere base. So yeah, I have one more of these to knit up. And I think that's all that I've been working on this week. This was a large majority of my time, and now that I have another shawl on the needles, I'm sure that will be taking up the majority of my time. But this bag has kind of turned into my, has kind of turned into my fun mini scrappy project bag, which I love because I can just open it up and it's almost like a fun little mini knit scrap bag for me. So, and this is a Fringe Field Supply bag for anybody that doesn't know. They're great. I love them. I have 2 of them. So yeah, those are all of my projects I've been working on. As far as for the rest of today, I think it's going to be a lot of packing for the week because we are going to be down in Connecticut visiting family for the last time until the baby's born. So it'll be a very special trip for us. So we're gonna do a little packing. We'll probably make a little bit of dinner, watch some football in about probably a half hour now. I credit my father for getting me into football because I was a daddy's girl growing up, and so anything that like he was into, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be into it too, and I'm gonna do that as a career. I wanted to be a baseball pitcher, I wanted to be a football quarterback. I was such a daddy's girl. So, but anyway, that one stuck. Football, I love watching it and I love getting into it, but anyway. So I'll watch a little bit of football, do some more puppy cuddles. We've got some snow flurries going on here, which is really fun. And yeah, just probably relax a little bit before the trip down. And yeah, that's about it. I would love to hear what you guys are up to. Hopefully I'll be able to get this up mid-afternoon. But yeah, let me know how you're spending your Sunday or your weekend or your Thanksgiving. Do you guys travel? Do you stay home? I don't know. Do you celebrate Thanksgiving? I think everybody does. I know Canadian Thanksgiving is earlier. I think they had theirs a month ago, maybe a couple months ago. But anyway, so it was lovely catching up with you all. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful holiday if you celebrate. And you should be seeing me next Sunday. Justin and I are planning on being back up in Vermont by the weekend. So as long as nothing crazy happens, you'll be seeing me here, same time, same place, next Sunday. So thank you so much for sharing some of your time with me. If you did enjoy this podcast, feel free to head down, give me a thumbs up, or feel free to subscribe. I am pretty good about being weekly with these podcasts, and I'd love to see you back here again. So yeah, thank you all for your time and attention, and until next time, like we always say, needles up. Bye everybody.